Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today's episode, we want to talk about soul tribes, communities, and collectives. I think the idea came from this episode. Well, this is something we wanted to talk about a little bit, but the idea mostly came because of the way that the Akashic Records have been saying for the past, 2 years? That we should be coming together with communities, like-minded communities, and
supporting each other.
Yes, supporting each other, and just, you have to, since there's, two things I want to say, actually. We've talked so many times about that the ascension. But the one thing that the Akashic Records has also said is that not everyone signed up for the ascension.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those scenarios I could bring in, let's say you are one of the people that are here for the ascension. Your soul signed up for it. You're on board. You're you're excited about it. You might have people around you, whether that be family, friends, acquaintances, coworkers. Some of those people might have not signed up for it. So that means that at some point, there's going to be, I think people think really sadly or negatively when I say the divide, but what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be coming into communities that are on the same path as us. So I think we should be looking at it not of what I'm losing, but what I'm gaining. And so that's what we should be doing. So if there's people in your life that maybe you used to hang out with or get together with that used to be like a really normal, good time, you felt aligned with them or conversing with them. Maybe you've started in the last 1-2 years or recently feeling like you just don't feel like talking to them about things anymore, or you have to find that you can't talk about half the things that you can. That might be that scenario playing out for you where it's the universe kind of already showing you this person's not going to be able to support your new belief systems or your new passions or your new purpose or what you really want to walk, path you really want to walk. They might not be there. They may never get there. And so that's when you're supposed to stop and observe that and be like, well, let me open myself up to this community, tribe, collective over here whom can support me. And I can also support them because it's not just you finding people that are going to constantly support you. It's you also have something to give to the group.
Of course. There's always an exchange, right? Like even us creating our Patreon or the podcast. Obviously, we talk on the podcast, but the Patreon, we felt that need to be able to have a back and forth. That was like a huge thing for us. We were like, how do we help, but also allow people to where we can talk? And like, you met up with some of the girls in Norway, and how do we start to all help each other at a deeper level without, like, we can't do that if it's just one way. Like, there's no way that can, it helps, but we all help each other. Even like when we talk about when you become like a level 2 Akashic record reader, I'm sure this is even as a Reiki practitioner or an intuitive or a psychic or a medium, you'll tend to get people in your readings or your sessions that are there to help you too. It's not just about you helping them. They're there reflecting back something to you. It's even at that level that we see that, right? So I think communities, groups, tribes, like all this is really important right now to be able to help each other, support each other. Because I think a lot of us, and the whole reason why we started this podcast is because we felt alone. Like we felt like we didn't have anybody else to talk to about these spiritual things because I still don't really have a lot of people around me physically here. I don't talk to anybody about these things. It's just with Lou or with the Patreon group or when I channel or when I do a reading. That's it.
Yeah, so I don't feel like alone with virtual. It anymore because I'm busy with it between recording the podcast.
I'm busy too, yeah.
Recording the Patreon, talking to all the girls in the Patreon. We also have guys, but mostly it's the girls chatting on the Patreon, like talking to everybody on the Telegram group Patreon. And then also at the same time doing all the readings and then angelic healing. Like actually I've managed to convert it into my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what everybody should be doing.
Yes. Finding a way to do that.
Like,
I agree.
Saying, this is something I'm passionate about. This is what I love. This is what calls my attention. I need to somehow make this consume the majority of my day and not this other, for example, job over here that doesn't fulfill me anymore at all, right? Like, find ways to slowly convert everything around you into your purpose, your mission, your interest, right?
Your interest, yeah. Whatever makes you feel joy, fulfills you. And I see that in readings all the time where people will tell me, I feel so alone. Nobody understands me. My family, I can't talk to my family about this, or no one gets it. So you end up becoming really kind of enclosed in that, introverted, even maybe deeper. And you have to understand that there are so many people out there feeling the same way. We just need to find each other. And this is why I think podcasts, groups, social media, this is where I think they can be so positive, where they can help connect people. Like the amount of people I've met through the podcast, which really came through Instagram. We were just searching, or people would message us like, wow, this person's like our friend now.
Yeah.
Like I'll message them or we'll do video calls. Like it's amazing. It's so magical that we don't have to be in the same physical space with that person, but still feel like they're so close when you do talk to them or you interact with them.
Yeah. It's like the distance doesn't exist. The only thing is like you'd probably pop over to their house and visit them if they were living nearby, but that's the only thing it changes. That interaction and that support is like still really there.
It is there.
Yeah.
And I think we have to understand that we need people around us to support us. We're humans are social creatures in many ways. And I think everything that's gone on the last couple of years has shown us that there's been so many repercussions to us being enclosed in our houses and separated from everybody, that now I think there's more of a need for us to connect with people at a deeper level and to feel understood and to feel accepted and to feel connected in some way.
I don't know about you, but I have a lot of like that feeling lately of like, I don't want to do this if it's just wasting my time. I don't feel like this just wastes my time. I'm just wasting the precious time I have. Like I really feel the time thing.
Yeah, I feel that a lot, and not in a negative sense. I feel it more like my time is precious. And I think also in the fact of like, okay, I'm working really hard right now. I can take an hour off and do this one thing because I genuinely enjoy it and it's going to help me unplug and make me feel connected to myself. I think I'm less hard on myself at moments like that. I'm like, well, I have to work right now. I have to hustle. I got to edit. I got to do this. I got to do that. But then I have to take care of myself too. If that's like, like putting that battery back, like recharging the battery.
I have to say, I've gotten much better at, I barely like watch any like TV or shows or anything.
I don't either.
I have actually not been able to tune into Gaia very much because I'm just reading so much. Any moment I have,
Me too.
I'm just reading so much.
That's how I've counteracted my screen time on my phone, by reading more now.
That's good.
Even if it's like a novel, like I'm just like, I'm going to unplug. I'm going to use my imagination. I'm going to go into like another world. And at least I'm reading. I'm doing something that I'm genuinely enjoying because I enjoy the story or the topic or whatever that is. And I'm not so much on my phone. It's really cool.
Well, speaking of that, this episode's coming out and I will be in the middle of camping.
Yes.
And that is what I decided to do. While everyone's going on maybe like these beach vacations, I said, I'm taking Aurora, me and Aurora alone, and we're going to go camping. And I'm like, this is my first time camping, so I'm probably gonna have a bunch of fails.
Look up YouTube videos.
Like we're going. No, I talked to a friend of mine here, and she's like the camping person. Like she's been doing it since she was little. So she's like, no, you have to this and this and this and that. And I'm like, wait, what about that? And that she has like, she had her answer for everything that I, had a question
I would say
about.
make sure you have a comfortable cushion, like inflatable thing, because then it's going to get uncomfortable to sleep. It's not good.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like taking it, because I don't have a driver's license here. So I can't drive myself there. So I'm literally I'm carrying it like in a suitcase and dealing with Aurora. So I actually...
Can you not Uber?
It's like 6 hours.
No, but I mean, can you Uber to the train station?
I still need to change 3 trains and 2 buses.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking a lot of transportation to get there. Like popping off of...
Can you not rent stuff there at the campus site? I'm sure there's like...
Maybe, but...
Look into that.
No, it's too late now.
Okay, you got everything already.
It's too late now. Also, like, we're in high season, and even finding a spot to, like, put your tent down was, like, super hard. Like, Europe was booked up, man. Big time.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like Europe is booming right now. Everybody's going to Europe.
Europeans take vacation seriously. Mm-hmm. They're not messing around. Their kids are out of school, and they're grabbing the kids, and they're, like, we have people here, neighbors... They were leaving 2 days after the kids finished school. Like, let's go, get in the car, go. Like,
we're getting out of here. Well,
vacation.
The weather's not been very nice there.
Well, yeah,
right?
the weather here is really bad. So, I mean, can you blame anyone for grabbing their kids and running as fast as they can to another country? We had sun. 2 days. They were like, oh, the heat wave in Europe. We had 2 days, which I didn't consider it that bad. We had 2 days, and it's gone. It's been cold. I'm wearing pants right now, so.
Wow.
And the door's closed because it's going to be cold, so.
It's chilly.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of summer, so yeah. So that's my, sorry, totally off topic. So that's what I plan to do. I said I'm going to be as present as possible with Aurora. I want to make it a nice summer for her, and I want to get her off of the iPad. And I want to get her more outside because vacation usually is, her on her like cartoons a little bit more. And even though we, go on the bike places and stuff, we don't go every single day. So this is my way of getting her and me off of iPad and iPhones and whatever.
Yeah, hopefully you'll meet some nice people and maybe create a little community while you're there too.
My mini camping community.
Who knows? Yeah. That is a community in itself, right? Because everybody will be neighbors.
Yeah.
Like even if you think about that, where you live, like where I live, it's like condos. And it's a community. We have our own WhatsApp group, people chat, there's things going on. We look out for each other. Like it's great. Like that's even sometimes you can't choose your neighbors, but you can try to support each other. And if you don't like it, you move, I guess.
Well, yeah. Some people have moved because of neighbors. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny. Well, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Some of these places are like, some people will stay for a night or two. And so I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll let you guys know my camping stories when I'm back, but we've never been taking camping when we were young. So I have no experience from our parents or from when we were young. Like I'm literally doing it for the first time.
You know what you should do? Keep like a little audio diary. Like at the end of the day, just like grab your phone and record a couple of minutes. Be like, well, today this happened. And then you can make like a little compilation of it. You don't have to share it on the podcast, but it'd be nice to remember that.
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I don't think I'll do that. What I want to do is like just be outside a lot, and I'm bringing obviously my ebook, and then I'm bringing a non-ebook in case my ebook dies. I have to charge it, and but I don't know if Aurora's gonna let me read too much, so we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. We were talking about communities and why they're so important. And I think really with this episode, we just want to talk about making sure that everybody understands the importance of it, first of all, of how you you may not have the people that you want or the people that support you around you, but there are ways of connecting with people that could understand you and support you. And I think that was such a huge drive for us to start the podcast and to create the Patreon after that, because we're like, wow, all these people are listening to us and we receive, messages here and there and emails and we're doing readings, but how do we do that at a deeper level? So
there's no comfortable way of like us being open for them to like talk to us any time of the day, or us even being like, hey, how's everyone doing today? Like, right?
Yeah.
Or did you guys hear about this?
Respond.
Yeah.
So we have our own, we have like the Telegram group, but then we just post stuff on Patreon. Like, it's great. And really, it's such a supportive group that, and it's interesting also what I feel, at least personally, what I hear in the group, there are people that have become friends also in the group, like two people that will talk and they'll chat. Like even myself, I'll have monthly calls with one of the girls in the group and we talk about business. We talk about what's going on in life. We go deep. We've become friends, right? So, it can even get to that level where you don't have to be friends with everybody, but you can connect with certain people. And it could be a gateway to find those people because there's something in common, right?
Yeah, there's people that will vibe with you more. And there's no reason sometimes. It just is.
It just is. You just feel it. You just connect with it. It's being a little vulnerable too, and being able to open up to that and say, I want to find my community. I'm going to do whatever I can to do that and work towards that. And if that community isn't in place, then how do I create that?
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people that we've crossed paths with when we started the podcast, they've also gone on to start their own communities, even if it's on Facebook or on their own like sites or groups or studying. It's amazing.
That's
amazing.
That's the future, because we're supposed to, you hear a lot of people talk about, we're creators, create your own reality. We're creators, create your own reality. And this is it. Like, you're deciding that you're done feeling alone with this topic and this, I don't want to call it belief system, but like this new passion and wanting to discover more about yourself and how you really function and being more open to spiritual stuff. Maybe you feel alone with that. Well, that's it. It's time for you to be like, I can change my reality. Just like I said in the beginning, like somehow the steps that we took, now like my whole day is about this basically. Like, that's my day now. It went from a project to now we've managed to create all these other scenarios that one project kind of ignited. And now we have this whole like structure where that's my day now. I've managed to submerge myself in it. Whereas before it was just you and I talking on the phone.
Literally just us on like WhatsApp. Something someone said the other day, I don't remember who it was. I don't know if I recall, maybe it was during a reading. I don't remember. But saying how, and this has been my experience too, where I've done a course and I've been in a group and I'm like, oh, there's just so many people. Who do I connect with? Like there's no depth in it. Do you know what I mean? So I think two things about that. I think it's first making sure that you're connecting to the right group, to the right topic, to the right thing that brings you joy. And second, making sure that you're becoming a little vulnerable in that space. Like
opening up.
You might need to reach out to people. You might need to say something. You might need to tell a story. Or
even just say, this is how I'm feeling. Anyone else felt that or feel that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, at least in our community, I feel like there's just so many people that are so caring, and not everybody's going through the same thing, but we can all try to understand each other. And I think there's such an intention in that, because that's the intention we put forward when we do our readings, when we do the podcast. Like, we're just here to like talk about things and not judge each other and just understand everybody's point of view and share stories and ideas. And hopefully that opens people's minds. There's no like hidden agenda in that sense. You know what I mean? I think that's what we always wanted, like that open community where there's no judgment, where it's very much like those concepts of the Akashic Records where we can ask anything and talk about anything.
I think it's fascinating to talk to people that are all in different places in the world.
I love that.
That's one of my favorite things. Like, you think about something and go, oh, actually, someone from our group is from there. Let's ask them. Or, oh, this or that. Like, oh, my God, I love that. And also when something like, when shit hits the fan, like COVID happened, right? Like, we could see, hey, how things where you are. And did it, like, you could actually have a real live comparative, not like media and you not knowing how much that was, like, is that really that way or is it not? Or is it, like, you had...
Like, you're physically there. What are you going through?
Yeah.
Tell us.
How are you seeing it? How are you living it? And we were... I mean, when we were just getting into it, we were all able to say, oh, where I am, it's really bad, or where I am, this and this and that, or, oh, it's not so bad where I am, and we were able to, like...
It was that way, exactly. And I think with that also, the emotional sense, like, what are you going through? Are we all... And I think that also gives us ideas with the podcast, right? When you're in a community and you can see that there's a theme, there's something that keeps repeating, it's like, okay, this is something bigger than us. Maybe there's people outside of this group going through that too.
Yeah, like when you feel something, you're like, oh, is that just me?
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, something's in the air. There's a bunch of us feeling that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reality is most of the people, well, I can't speak for everybody, I'm just generalizing here, but many people, from what I hear and what they tell me, is that they don't have family members, specifically family members, that they can sit and like, hey, like, I'm doing this Akashic Record course, I'm really interested in this topic, or I really like crystals, or I'm really into Reiki, or I'm getting like a Reiki session done. Like, most people will go in one ear out the other, like they don't care, or they're against it totally, because we have those two extremes.
It's crazy. I think if I had to like summarize and bring into percentages or something like that, how many individuals have issues with their new path and family, it's really normal.
It happens a lot.
A lot of people have that. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
We
I
never,
see
like...
that time and time
again.
again.
We don't have the first-hand experience with that because Mom was always the one that was, like, annoying with the spiritual stuff. We're like, Mom, stop. Now everything's about spirituality all the time. Like, I remember getting mad at Mom, like, stop. Why does everything always have to be... Why are you talking about protecting yourself all the time? You're so annoying. Just live life. I remember, like, thinking... Now I'm the one like, no, Mom, did you protect yourself?
I think Dad was probably a little bit more close. No, I wouldn't say even close. I'd just say he was just not...
No, but...
as open
But
to
Dad
talk
would be
about
like,
it.
if Mom brought a new tool, Dad's like... He would be the first one to put his arm like, okay, do it. Go ahead. What are you going to do?
Right on. Totally.
He'd be the first one. And he'd be like, oh, it's actually, I feel good. Yeah, I like it.
Not with the Akashic Records, though. I think he was like, he waited a while to get a reading.
I gave him a reading. He was one of my firsts when I practiced. And he was actually surprised because he knows my Spanish is not great. Like, he's my dad.
He's like, where did you get those words
He's like,
from?
what are those words you're saying? I'm like, he's like, they're not mine. They give me words and like, I just say them to you. Like, that's not how my daughter speaks. I'm like, because I wasn't the one speaking. I'm just the one giving you the words that someone, the Akashic Records are giving to me.
Yeah, you're just a channel. That's it.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I think our upbringing, and I think we talked a little bit about this in our previous episode we talked a little bit about families and how the belief systems and stuff like that. And we've done other episodes on that. And we talk about that in our courses of these belief systems that our parents have or our families have that can have an impact on us and how we feel towards certain things. And it might not be that they're closed off to it. They're just maybe not interested in it. And that still affects us because I think...
can't believe it yet. They just can't.
Yeah. They're just not ready for it there. And I've heard so many cases of people are like, well, you need to walk your path. You need to do what feels right for you. And then other family members, and you're not doing it with that intention. It's like, I'm just trying to be authentic to myself. I'm trying to follow my path. I'm trying to find my people. And if they open up to it at some point, and I'll be open to talk about it, but it's not forcing anybody to believe something. We're never in that energy. We should never be in that energy because it's very, that's probably going to create a lot of stress and make us feel disconnected from ourselves in many ways.
I was just thinking while you're talking that right now is probably the more difficult time because this is when we're getting a lot of like, the human rights and the DNA upgrade, like all these scenarios are playing through to help us with our ascension, especially if you're somebody signed up for it and you're prepared to receive them. You're getting hit And the more you get hit, the more you're going into that, like, out of 3D, right? More into 5. The more you do that, the more the collision with those people that are not ready for that might be, where, like, they totally can't hear what you're saying. They don't pick up on any of it whatsoever. And it's not their fault. It's just that you're progressing and they might be staying in the same spot. It might look like they're going backwards, but it's just you're going forward. So, I mean, we're in the middle of that messy part. I mean, supposedly, like, the more tangible evidence we'll have where we can see the structures that have been created and how the ascension did begin, we're not going to be able to physically see that till 2026, apparently. That's what I understand. And so till then, it's just going to be us progressing and following our intuition and trying to find our communities and trying to find people that are going to help us continue to accelerate. Instead of holding us back, continue to move forward. So
feel supported.
Yeah, what we really need is to feel supported, but also people go, yeah, you got it. Come on, let's go. Like, some people that will motivate you to. And like, also, like, even when you're getting those, and I've had those moments where, I mean, for me, that was Norway, when, like, you start releasing so much stuff you need to get rid of because your soul's ready for the next part. And if you don't let that go, you can't get there. And for me, that was like Norway with the support system of the girls. I don't think I would have ever done it alone here. Like, where I didn't have anybody to, like, fully be like, dude, just cry. And, like, one of the girls helping me through a panic attack. Like, it was massive for me. Like, everything I went through in Norway, it was, like, massive for me. And so, like, I don't know what I would have done without the girls, without that community. Like, I don't know. I would have, first of all, I wouldn't have been able to emotionally fully feel supported. And then secondly, I probably wouldn't have been able to get there to release it, because the only reason why I got there was because it was a safe place for me to do that. Of
course. That's why it's important to create that safety in your community, whatever community you're in, doesn't matter. And if it's friends, if you don't feel safe, you're not probably first, you're not going to be authentically yourself, but you're not going to be able to just, like, let go, and just be present and just relax. And I think there's something so freeing of being able to have people around you, or virtual or physical, that allow you to just be you, and you don't have to be apologetic about it. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to second guess yourself. Like, you just are who you are. That's awesome.
Yeah. For me, for example, like, I've started diving into, like, deeper and deeper and deeper the universe stuff. And sometimes a lot of really crazy information comes out of it. And sometimes it's really hard to grasp it. And I want someone to talk about it with. Like, I want to, like, dude, I just finished the class. And I mean, who's the first person I can grab around me? Which is, like, obviously the person that lives with me. And, like, sometimes you'll see him, like, looking at me, like, blank, like, what are you saying? Yeah, dude, it's a thing in the universe. I swear to God. Like, and I just feel like, that insane person sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just, they're not open to hearing it.
They're not open to hearing it. They're not ready to accept it. They can't comprehend it. It goes right over their head, right?
Yeah, which is fine. They're just not there. They might not be, they don't align with that. They can't play that role in your life, right?
Yeah. I mean, their energy might be submerged and worried and looking into other things. Well, I mean, I'm consumed with this. Like, I am into it. And, like, whatever free moment I have, I'm studying and writing down my notes. And then I'm grabbing all the books that kind of support what I'm learning, to see what other channels and what other beings are saying. Like, oh my God, it's corroborated. They're saying it here too. I have to say, I started reading Raw Material. You know the Raw Material?
No.
I have the book here. The Raw Material, Lorena. It's super well known. I'm going to show it to Lorena on the camera. The Raw Material.
Oh, Raw. R-A.
Yeah, the Raw Material. It's the Law of One. I started reading...
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
I started reading this about 3 years ago, and I could not understand what they were talking about. It was just... I was like, oh, it's too... And also their language, because it's like their language is not our English, because the person that's channeling it is totally unconscious leaving, and then the vocal cords are being used by the beings coming in, and so they're using another language, like not another language, but like an older English or something.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes it's hard to be like, what are they saying? This word that they're using, like, what is it? Sometimes you have to pay attention. You have to reread and go, wait, what? Wait, what? But this time, I'm reading parts and going, oh, the only reason why I get that is because I studied about that in the Universal Course thing. And like, I get it. So all these books that I used to be like, oh, I think I get it. I'm not too sure. Now I'm like, oh, I totally get it. Okay. And this book,
so cool.
I was in the room the other day and I was going to grab another book and I saw this and I said, I'm grabbing the raw material. I'm going to try it again. I started reading it and I was on page 80 outside and Aurora was like playing. So I was like, okay, I can grab it. She's distracted. And I grabbed it and I was reading it and I was on page 80. And then I go to the Telegram group, the Patreon Telegram group. And then one of the girls goes, hey guys, have any of you read the raw material? I said, I was literally with the book in my hand. I said, oh my God, I'm on page 80 right now. So
signs everywhere.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like for me that was a sign that I was on the right path, and maybe for her that was a sign that she should get on that one too.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we were talking about that.
We just have to find those people that I guess are I don't know if it's on our, because there's in the group at least that we're in that we vibe with. There's people with different interests and they're all talking about different things, and I think I don't maybe resonate with all the topics, but I can understand them. But I'll probably gravitate towards people that are probably more in sync with what I'm interested in. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean I can't understand them or listen to them.
Yeah. I
think
if someone talks to me about the universe, I'm jumping in going, let's talk about this for like the next 5 hours.
I still find it fascinating. I want to still understand it. And I think I get that through you and through what you learn and you sharing that on the podcast or our conversations. Obviously, we converse less and less now because we're so busy, but we do that here. Like our conversations are now the podcast.
Guys, literally the only time I talk to Lorena is now when we're doing an episode, either Patreon or podcast. Like that's it. We never get to like talk
harder.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, or unless we do some family chat, but
it just doesn't help that we're
time zones.
Yes. Yeah. No, time zone change, yeah. But also there's less hours in the day, even though like we're still functioning with a 24-hour clock. I still can't figure out how that happens, but we are actually functioning with less hours in the day.
I think it's just moving faster.
Yeah, time's moving faster, so that means you have less time to do everything that you used to do in more time.
I totally feel that all the time.
It's exhausting.
So exhausting.
I feel like I'm always thinking to myself, is it time to go to sleep yet? I'm going to go to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, because like I'm always like, even yesterday, like I finished the core, like I did the class yesterday. So my classes are on Monday, 2 Mondays a month.
Yeah.
They're 3 hours in a row. And it's 3 hours, guys, of like information where like your head. And yesterday was just so much information. I was like, I can't handle it. I can't. I need to sleep. And I woke up feeling better. Like I was like, oh, okay. And then I went and I started like rewriting my notes and going through it. And I felt much better about the information. But sometimes when there's information that hits you and it's contradicting things that like 3D world has taught you, and it's contradicting that, you have to now accept possibly new ways of like seeing things, new perspectives. It's too much for the brain sometimes.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And I was like, I can't handle it. And then Aurora was like being, fussy in the night. And I'm like, Aurora, I can't handle it right now. I need to sleep.
Poor Aurora.
I know.
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, I think we're just going to make this a short one today. We just really wanted to, I guess it's kind of like a reminder too, like if you're feeling called to connect with the community or to create your own, like this is your sign to do it. Like you're not alone, even if you guys DM us, listen to the podcast, like we're here, like you're not alone. And I think a lot of people have reached out to me, said that they were alone. And I want to say, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not going through anything alone. We're all energetically connected. We're all connected at a soul level. So understand that and find your people. Like this is your sign to find your people, connect with what brings you joy, what's important to you, and be able to find people that can understand you and you can understand them and support them and they support you. Like this very beautiful synchronistic, like just energy, and where you feel that you can conquer anything. I think that's beautiful. That's what I strive myself and what I wish everybody could get and connect with.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything, Lou?
No, I love what you said. And I think the only thing I would add to that is find people so you can just talk about anything, especially like the junk you're going through, the difficulties you have. Maybe you want to just chat about the current collapse that's happening because all of the systems are going to be slowly kind of like coming to a cycle end, right? Like you're going to want to talk about that stuff with people, and the people that are open-minded and know that there's a spiritual thing behind that, right?
Yeah.
You know, like we did an episode just now, you know, like last month on the Patreon about the financial collapse that's coming, right? Like it's going to happen and everyone's going to live through it, but maybe you want a group that's going to talk to you about it from a spiritual place. Like we can understand that it has to happen and it's for our own good because it's going to bring in other ways of doing things financially that's not like an enslavement system, and it's more, you know, energetically fair for everyone, depending on what, you know, depending on what path you take, of course. But yeah, like sometimes even 3D things, even 3D things sometimes can be talked about with everybody, but you want to talk about the other side of it. Like, but why is it happening? And what are we supposed to learn from it? And what are we supposed to take from that? And you can't have that deeper conversation with normal day things with people that are just not there.
Yeah, or that don't want to talk about those things.
So maybe it's just chatting because you want to like talk. Let's just talk about it.
Just someone that's open, like this openness and this. It's not that they might not believe or understand things the same way you do or have the same perspectives, but they're open to talk about it. I think that energy helps us also open up to other ideas as well for ourselves. But yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would have
sign.
Yeah,
sign,
I don't
guys.
I'm not sure that, like, now that I'm, like, really deep diving and realizing that this is what I want to do, and I'm obsessed with what I'm studying and learning and reading, I don't think I would have done it if it wasn't for the Patreon, because the Patreon, we started it because we were going to go deeper into subjects, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling comfortable doing it just, like, on the podcast. I'm like, okay, well, this place over here, you know, this Patreon we're creating feels safer. I don't think I would have ended up opening up to learning more about like the universe and everything if I hadn't started talking about it, because it's allowed me to be comfortable with it, because a bunch of people are into listening to it. I'm like, oh, I'm not alone with this, like, and then it allowed me to get deeper into it. So that also
totally agree
is helping me, what's the word, like open up to it more, or like not feel like crazy more, that I want to learn that, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. It was the perfect process.
I definitely don't think I would have done it if it hadn't been for the Patreon.
Yeah. It's good for listening to yourself and taking that action, though, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Or listening to you.
Yeah.
Because it was your idea.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. All right. We're going to close out. But before we go, I want to quickly remind everybody that we have the giveaway for our 4-year Soul Tribe podcast anniversary running right now. So I'll make sure to link that Instagram post below. And basically what we're doing is we're going to randomly pick one person and give away a 60-minute dual Akashic record reading to one lucky winner. There'll be a few steps you need to follow. It's super easy. So just click on the Instagram post link that we'll include in the show notes. And then if you are part of our Patreon community, as a way of like an extra thanks, we're giving away another 60-minute dual Akashic record reading to our Patreon members. So anybody that's a member will automatically be considered as part of that, of the people that are enrolled in that giveaway. So yeah, we're excited, and we hope that it's just a little way of giving back to everybody for all your support and for everything and for showing up here and for helping us. We really appreciate you so much, and this is why we do this, right?
Yeah.
Because of you guys, because you guys listen, and hopefully it helps you in some way. So yeah, think that's it. I don't think I have any other reminders. Of course, all the other links to our courses, to our contact forms. Lou and I also offer readings, so if you guys are interested in any of that, let us know. We'll have all the information in the show notes or in the description bar if you're on YouTube. So we'll see you guys next week. I believe next 2 episodes will be solo episodes. So we'll see what we come through with that. We're excited for those. And if you need us, you know where to find us. And we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Love you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.